Here's a number that might surprise you. A single perennial, planted once, can turn into 5, 10, sometimes 20 separate plants over the years, completely free, just by digging it up every few seasons and splitting it apart. No seeds to buy, no trips back to the garden center, no repeat spending, ever. This is one of the best kept secrets in gardening, and almost nobody talks about it, because garden centers obviously don't make money telling you to stop buying plants. Today I'm giving you 10 perennials, specifically chosen because they divide easily, multiply reliably, and reward you generously for the tiny bit of effort it takes to split them. I'll walk you through exactly when to divide each one, how to do it without hurting the plant, what tools you actually need, and what you can do with all those free extras. Because trust me, you're going to end up with more than you know what to do with. One more thing before we jump in. Division isn't just about getting free plants. It's actually good for the plants themselves. Most perennials naturally slow down in bloom production once their root systems get overcrowded. Dividing them periodically resets that clock and keeps them vigorous for decades instead of petering out after 7 or 8 years. So really, this whole process is a 2-for-1, healthier plants, and more of them. Before we get into it, if you're new here, go ahead and hit subscribe, since I put out practical, no-nonsense gardening content like this every single week. And drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from. I always love seeing how far these videos travel. Alright, let's get into it. Plant number 1, Hosta. If you've got a shady spot in your yard, Hosta is one of the single best plants to build a free plant collection from. A young hosta might look modest for the first year or two, but once it's established, that root ball, called a crown, expands steadily every season. By year 3 or 4, you'll have a clump substantial enough to divide. To divide hosta, wait until early spring, just as new growth is emerging, or fall after the leaves have died back. Dig up the entire clump, and you'll see it's actually made up of multiple individual growth points, called eyes, all connected at the base. You don't need anything fancy for this. A sharp spade, a hand trowel, and a clean, sturdy kitchen knife or a hoary garden knife will get the job done. Cut straight down through the crown, making sure each section has at least 2 or 3 eyes and a good chunk of root attached. Replant each division immediately. Water it in well, and within 1 season it'll look like an established plant on its own. If you're in a colder zone, say zone 3 or 4, do your dividing in early spring rather than fall, since divisions need time to root in before the ground freezes. In warmer zones, 7 through 9, fall division actually tends to work better because the summer heat won't stress the fresh cuts. The most common mistake people make here is dividing too small, cutting a clump into so many tiny pieces that each one struggles to recover. Stick to sections with at least 2 or 3 eyes and resist the urge to squeeze out 1 extra plant. A single mature hosta clump can easily yield 4 to 6 new plants in 1 division session. Give new divisions a bit of extra shade for the first week or 2 if you're dividing during a warm spell. Even shade-loving plants can wilt when their root system has just been cut into pieces. Hosta is hardy in zones 3 through 9 and thrives in partial to full shade with rich, moist soil. Plant number 2, daylily. Daylilies are almost embarrassingly easy to multiply, which is exactly why you see them naturalized in old abandoned yards decades after anyone stopped tending them. Their root system consists of multiple fans, individual leaf clusters each attached to their own set of fleshy roots, all bundled together underground. To divide, dig up the clump any time from spring through early fall. Though spring and fall are gentlest on the plant, all you really need is a garden fork and your hands. Gently pull the fans apart by hand. They often separate naturally with just a firm tug, or use the fork to loosen tightly bound sections before pulling. Each fan with its own roots is a completely viable new plant. Replant divisions at the same depth they were growing before, about an inch below the soil surface. In hotter climates, zones 7 and up, Avoid dividing during peak summer heat since the fresh roots can dry out and scorch before they establish. In cooler zones, aim for a 6-week window before your first hard frost, so roots have time to settle. A mistake worth avoiding is replanting divisions too deep. Daylilies planted with the crown buried more than an inch or two below the surface often rot instead of thriving. A single daylily clump, left undivided for 5 years, can easily produce 15 to 20 new fans. If you end up with more fans than you have space for, daylilies also hold up well in nursery pots for a season, so you can pot up the extras and hand them out at your own pace rather than scrambling to place them all in the ground at once. Daylilies are hardy in zones 3 through 9 and tolerate nearly any soil type without complaint. Plant number 3, Black-Eyed Susan. This plant multiplies in 2 ways at once, through clump division and through self-seeding, which means your free plant count grows even faster than most perennials on this list. The clump itself expands from a central root mass, sending up more stems each year. Divide Black-Eyed Susan in early spring or fall by digging up the entire root mass and pulling or cutting it into sections, each with several stems and a healthy portion of root attached. A spade handles this fine. It's a forgiving plant to divide, tolerating rough handling far better than more delicate perennials. On top of that, if you leave a few spent flower heads standing through fall, the seeds that drop will sprout into entirely new plants the following spring, completely on their own, no digging required at all. In northern zones, divide in spring so the new sections have a full growing season to establish roots before winter. In milder southern zones, fall division works just as well since the ground rarely freezes hard enough to heave young roots. One thing to watch for, Black-Eyed Susan can spread aggressively if you let both self-seeding and clump expansion happen unchecked for several years in a row. So if you want to keep it contained, deadhead some of the blooms before they go to seed. On the flip side, if you want maximum free plants with minimum effort, just let it do its thing. Between the self-seeding and the clump division, a small patch of Black-Eyed Susan can turn into a substantial drift within 3 or 4 years without you lifting a shovel more than once. Black-Eyed Susan is hardy in zones 3 through 9. Plant number 4. Sedum, specifically the upright autumn joy type. Sedum divides beautifully and also propagates through an even easier method, stem cuttings, meaning you don't even need to dig up the whole plant to get free new ones. For traditional division, dig up the clump in spring using a spade and split the root mass into sections. Each piece will reestablish quickly since sedum's water-storing roots are remarkably resilient to the stress of transplanting. For an even simpler method, snip a 4 to 6 inch stem cutting in early summer using clean garden shears, strip the bottom leaves, and simply stick it directly into soil. Sedum roots so easily from cuttings that many gardeners skip division entirely and just take cuttings instead. The main mistake with sedum cuttings is overwatering. Since these are succulent-type plants, built to store water in their leaves and stems, soggy soil will rot a fresh cutting before it ever roots. Let the soil dry out between waterings, especially in the first couple of weeks. In humid climates, this is doubly important. In drier zones, you can be a bit more relaxed about watering frequency. Sedum is hardy in zones 3 through 9. Plant number 5, Yarrow. Yarrow spreads through underground rhizomes, meaning the plant is constantly sending out new growth points a little further from the original planting each year, which makes it one of the easiest plants on this list to divide since you're often just separating naturally occurring offshoots rather than cutting through a dense root mass. Divide in spring or fall by digging around the perimeter of an established clump with a hand trowel, where you'll usually find smaller, independent-looking sections already loosely connected to the main plant. These can often be lifted with minimal digging and replanted immediately elsewhere. Yarrow's toughness means the newly divided sections establish quickly even in poor soil, which makes it a great candidate for gardeners in hot, dry zones, 7 through 9, where more delicate perennials struggle to bounce back after transplanting. In cooler zones, spring division gives the best results. One small caution: Yarrow spreads readily on its own even without your help. So if you're not planning to divide it regularly, give it room to roam or plan on pulling volunteer sprouts each spring. Yarrow is hardy in zones 3 through 9. Quick pause here. If you're finding this useful, drop a comment telling me your city or country, and if you haven't subscribed yet, this is a great time to do it so you don't miss the rest of this series. Okay, let's keep going. Plant number 6, Coneflower, or Echinacea. Coneflower clumps expand gradually from a central crown, and while it doesn't multiply quite as aggressively as some plants on this list, dividing it every 3 to 4 years actually improves the health and bloom production of the parent plant, so you're getting free plants and a healthier original in the same move. Divide in early spring before new growth gets too tall, digging up the entire root mass with a spade and using a sharp knife to cut it into sections, each with several strong shoots and a good portion of root. Coneflower can be slightly slower to bounce back after division, compared to Hosta or Daylily, so keep new divisions consistently watered for the first few weeks. This is the single biggest factor in whether a division survives. In zones 3 through 5, stick strictly to spring division. Fall divisions in cold climates often don't root deeply enough before winter and can heave out of the ground. In zones 6 through 9, either season works. A light layer of mulch around fresh divisions helps regulate soil moisture and temperature while the roots are reestablishing. Just keep it a couple of inches back from the crown so it doesn't trap excess moisture against the stems. Coneflower is hardy in zones 3 through 9. Plant number 7, Catmint. Catmint forms a spreading mound that, over 2 to 3 years, develops multiple independent crowns within the same plant, each capable of becoming its own standalone plant once separated. Divide in early spring just as new growth appears, lifting the entire mound with a fork and gently teasing apart the natural sections by hand where possible, since forcing cuts through catmint's somewhat woody base can stress the plant unnecessarily. If a section won't separate by hand, a clean cut with pruning shears works better than a spade here. Precision matters more than force with this one. Each division reestablishes quickly and often blooms in its first season. After planting, cut the divided sections back by about a third. It looks drastic, but it redirects the plant's energy into root establishment instead of trying to support full top growth while it's still recovering underground. Catmint is hardy in zones 3 through 8. Plant number 8, Coreopsis. Coreopsis spreads via both clump expansion and light self-seeding, giving you 2 free plant methods in one. The clump itself divides easily every 2 to 3 years, which also helps prevent the center of older clumps from thinning out and dying back, a common issue if Coreopsis is left undivided too long. Divide in spring, lifting the clump and splitting it into sections with a spade, each with a solid portion of root and multiple growth points. Coreopsis divisions establish fast and often bloom the same year they're replanted. The most common mistake is waiting too long to divide, letting a clump go 5, 6, 7 years untouched. By then the center has often died out completely and you're left dividing a ring instead of a full clump. Divide on schedule and you avoid this entirely. Coreopsis is hardy in zones 3 through 9. Plant number 9, Russian sage. Russian sage is slightly different from the others on this list, since its woody base makes traditional root division less reliable. Instead, the best free plant method here is softwood stem cuttings taken in late spring or early summer. Cut a 4 to 6 inch section of new, still flexible growth using clean shears, strip the lower leaves, and place it in moist, well-draining soil or a rooting medium. Keep it consistently moist but not soggy for several weeks while roots develop. This method has a slightly lower success rate than dividing something like Hosta or Daylily, so take several cuttings at once to improve your odds. Expect maybe half to root successfully, which is still a great return for zero cost. In hot, dry zones, keep cutting somewhere with light shade while they root. Direct sun can dry them out before roots form. Russian sage is hardy in zones 4 through 9. Plant number 10. And I saved this one for last because it might be the single easiest plant to multiply on this entire list. Sempervivum, hens and chicks. This plant does most of the work for you automatically. The central hen rosette continuously produces small chick offsets around its base, tiny rosettes connected by a short runner, which are essentially already free, independent plants waiting to be separated. To propagate, simply snap or gently cut a chick away from the runner, connecting it to the parent hen, and press it into gritty, well-draining soil. It requires no special timing, no particular season, and barely any aftercare beyond making sure it isn't sitting in soggy soil. That's really the only mistake to avoid here. Planting chicks in heavy, water-retentive soil, instead of something sandy or gritty. A single healthy hen and chick planting can produce dozens of new chicks over just a couple of seasons, completely on autopilot. Sempervivum is hardy in zones 3 through 8. So here's how to actually put this into practice. Start with 2 or 3 of these plants this season, whichever fits your existing conditions, sun or shade, wet or dry. Let them establish for a full year or 2 without touching them. Resist the urge to divide anything in its first season. The plant needs that time to build up a root system worth splitting. Then, in early spring or fall, depending on your zone and the plant, dig them up, divide them following the specific method for that plant, and replant the divisions elsewhere in your yard, or better yet, share a few with a neighbor or a friend who gardens. A quick word on tools, since a few of you always ask about this in the comments. You genuinely don't need anything expensive here. A spade, a garden fork, a hand trowel, a sharp knife, and a pair of pruning shears will get you through every single plant on this list. If you're dividing a lot of plants in one afternoon, it's worth wiping your blades down with rubbing alcohol between plants. Especially if any of them showed signs of disease, it's a cheap habit that prevents you from accidentally spreading problems from one part of the garden to another. That's the real magic of this approach. You're not just filling your own yard for free, you're creating a self-sustaining supply of plants that keeps growing every single year, entirely from an initial investment of just 10 plants. If this video helped you rethink how you build a garden, subscribing genuinely helps a lot, since I'm putting out practical content exactly like this every week, and it means you'll never have to go searching for it. It'll just show up when you need it. And before you go, drop a comment and let me know which of these 10 you're starting with, and whether you've got a neighbor lined up to share the extras with. I read every single comment, and I genuinely want to know. Now get out there, and I'll see you in the next one.